Welcome to Books Under Your Bed. Today I wanted to give an update on the books I'm currently reading, because I'm reading too many books at once, which is a common problem for me. So this is just a rundown of 6 of the books I'm currently reading. The first book I want to talk about is a book I'm reading for my book club. It's a small book club with just 2 of my friends that I started partly because I have a ridiculous amount of audiobooks, and so we try to pick one of my audiobooks that I already own to read. This month we're reading Conspiracy of Truths by Alexandra Rowland. It's science fiction fantasy novel about an older man who his sort of profession is collecting stories and observing people and learning about customs and going from country to country. One of the reasons why we chose this book is because it has a gay main character and other queer characters. It's humorous. It reminds me a little bit of 1001 Nights. Is it 1000? Anyways, where a character is telling stories to keep themselves from trouble. In the beginning of this book, the main character is arrested for witchcraft, and he's in this big legal system trial that he's trying to get out of, and he's telling stories and navigating the political intrigue of the different countries. So far, the voice of it is what is really selling it, as a sort of cheeky, fun voice that is entertaining, and I'm excited to read the rest this week because my book club meets at the end of the week. The second book I'm currently reading is Golden Sun by Pierce Brown. It's the second book in the Red Rising saga. I read the first book not very long ago with my book club. I enjoyed it, but I found that there was definitely problems with it, I guess. And I'm actually liking the second book more than the first book. Now that the world is established, it's able to do interesting things in unpredictable ways. I'm almost halfway done, I think, at this point. And I'm really enjoying it, so I might talk about that one more once I finish it. The third book I'm currently reading is Acceptance by Jeff VanderMeer. It's the third book of the Reach trilogy, or the Southern Reach trilogy. If you don't know anything about the Southern Reach trilogy, the first one is Annihilation. It was made into a movie. I really loved the first one. It's about going into this Area X, which is this mysterious, strange place that kind of morphs and distorts things that go into it. I was not really a fan of the second one at all. It's more about the organization that goes into Area X and navigating sort of the weirdness of that organization. Found it tedious, and I wasn't quite sure what the author was really trying to do. So it made me end up not reading the third one for quite a while, but I've finally gotten around to starting the third one. I'm only 2 chapters in, so it'll be a while before I finish this one. But I wanted to finish that one so I could read the fourth one, which came out recently, and hopefully talk about that one soon. The fourth book that I'm currently reading is a book of short stories by an Argentinian writer who published around the 30s, 40s. His name is Jorge Luis Borges. The collection is called Fictions, or Ficciones. I'm trying my best to pronounce this stuff. Anyways, I've read 4 or 5 short stories so far in the collection. It's pretty great. It's kind of the foundation of magical realism. The story's plots are kind of hard to describe just because they're complex and make lots of references to real people and things, and kind of twist reality. I guess one example is a story about reviewing a novel that has two different versions, and the review compares those two versions of the story, or the reader disagrees with the perspective of the reviewer as he's reviewing the book that you haven't actually read, but you now know about because of the review. Another great story in the collection is this man who goes to a ruin and prays and meditates to create another person. And so he doesn't want to reveal to this person that he's dreamed up that the person is just a dream. And the story sort of develops from there. That might be the best story that I've read so far in the collection, but I have high hopes for the rest of the stories. Yeah, let's move on to the next book. The fifth book I'm currently reading is a novella, so I should finish this one soon. It's called Grievers. It's part of a series. I also have the second book. It's by Adrienne Maree Brown, I believe. I'll have the cover up so you can read the name for yourself. It's a dark, apocalyptic story about Chicago, I believe. And there's like a plague that is only mostly killing black people. I'm about halfway through it. It starts off with the death of the main character's mother, so it's pretty heavy. I hear that it gets more hopeful as it keeps going, so maybe I'll talk about it at a point when I finished it. The sixth book I'm reading is actually on the shelf. It's right here. It's shiny. It's a book about magic, sort of literal, figurative, in the real world magic. Not like card tricks, but like gods and altars, and it's heavily illustrated and dense with things of activities and comics and stories. It even has some like crafts to do, but I'm gonna slowly work my way through it. And that's the 6 books that I'm hopefully going to talk about in a more depth in the future. Thanks for this small tour of what I'm currently doing. I'm going to see how this edits together and maybe refilm the whole thing.